Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair, took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no home, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas, keep. You with me, sheesh. But need no cheap keep.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, thought they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen him down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a mill, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. Told him come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all, I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it now, I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the roll, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the roll, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Bitcoin decided to come up and grab some of that liquidity that we had sitting above our key levels yesterday. We did not go live yesterday. We did not go live on Friday. We did drop a market update for the Mafia, as I never like to leave the CandleMafia in the dark, guys. I wasn't going to go live. I wasn't feeling good. As you guys know, if you guys were tuned into any of the content, you will know I was feeling pretty trash. Feeling much better right now. But yeah, we dropped that market update, guys, with our liquidity sitting above, looking for price to potentially get a push into those liquidation levels. We did wind up seeing that happen. And the question now is, what is coming up next for Bitcoin? Now, I do want to take a look at the higher time frames today and talk about some of the key bullish signals that we're seeing on Market Cypher B for a potential continuation to the upside. And it's not just Market Cypher B, guys. It's not just the key levels of support. It's not just the bullish divergences on the higher time frames. It's not just that weekly green dot that we've been waiting for. As you guys know, we were looking for that weekly green dot, and it finally did print this weekend. But there are also some other things. We're going to take a look at the stock market. We're going to take a look at gold, and we're going to talk about a potential possibility to finally see some bigger retracements to the upside. And then, as always, we're going to cover the bearish case as well. But as of right now, guys, I'm going to go over the bullish signs here and the possibility of potentially getting a continuation up to some much higher prices for Bitcoin. Now, this is not Frankie Candles calling the bottom. Everybody buy now. Send it to $1 million. Obviously, we are going to take a look at that bearish scenario as well. But right now, guys, I will say there are some bullish signs popping up into our key level of support that we came down and tapped at $75,000. Is it going to be able to give us a pop to the upside, or is Trump just going to tweet or something and just nuke us back to the downside? We're going to cover everything in tonight's live stream. So shout out to the Candle Mafia. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us here on the live stream. Let's see who we got in chat today. We got Rob the Crypto Snob, guys. Don't forget to show our mods some love. We got Crypto Billy, Crypto Anon, Rob the Crypto Snob, Tyler Durden, Chemistry Bro, Darren Does Things, Dave Digital. You guys know who the mods are. Captain Kirk. Show him some love in the chat right now. Thank you guys for everything you do for our channel. And yeah, show him some love in the chat. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. We got Gordon in the chat, said he was getting chopped up earlier. Shout out to Gordon. Hey, last time you were saying you had a bunch of wins, so you can't win them all, bro. You can't win them all. Don't feel bad about that. As long as you were taking small losses, it's totally fine. As long as you're not out there getting liquidated for your entire account or something like that, you should be pretty good. But shout out to Gordon. Welcome in. We got B Gold 99 said, "What up, Frankie?" Shout out to B Gold. We're going to take a look at gold today. Actually, we don't always take a look at gold, but we are going to take a look at it today because there are some interesting signs and potentially we might see history repeat itself here. We got a lot to look at on the chart. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Hey, Cap, shout out to you. I did see your text message. I didn't get a chance to answer you, but I did see it, and I will text you after the stream. Shout out to Captain Kirk. We love you. CandleMafia Mama. Crypto Billy in the chat. We got Crypto Rich. What is going on? He said he's the man. If he... Frankie Candles, he's the man. If he can't TA it, no one can. Yeah, Frankie, shout out to Crypto Rich. Welcome in, and hopefully we can help you get Crypto Rich. Fast and easy, guys. It's an easy buy and sell indicator. I'm just kidding. But yeah, shout out to Pennywise, everybody's favorite clown in the chat. We got K Diggity. What is going on? K Dig said if you get liquidated, you go in Frankie timeout. We call that FTO. Yeah, Frankie timeout. Don't get liquidated, guys. Don't get liquidated. But shout out to K Diggity. Shout out to Pennywise. Shout out to Gas Top. Welcome in, Gas Top. Good to see you here. Said, hey, y'all, back here lurking. Let's go. Shout out to Gas Top. Welcome in. We got Jack in the chat. Said, are altcoins cooked? Chat, are we cooked? Shout out to Jack. We will take a look at the altcoins as well. About halfway through the stream, we will take a look at some of those altcoins. I want to take a look at Solana, Ethereum, XRP, and then we'll take some requests from the chat. But let's see. So yeah, without further ado, guys, shout out to Cabby, welcome in. But let's go ahead and jump on into the charts here and see if we can figure out the next move on Bitcoin, as we did see that liquidity get grabbed. What is coming up next? Let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. I hit the wrong button. Now, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. I just start levitating off my chair. Take me away, crypto gods. Take me away. But yeah, guys, really what I want to do here first off is cover the higher time frames with you guys and just kind of talk about the overall state of Bitcoin right now as we have pushed into our key level of support. As you guys know, if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, right? You will know we were looking for that 786 to come in and get tapped. We had the weekly naked point of control down here as well. I think I have that right here. We had the weekly naked point of control. We had the 786 Fibonacci retracement. And the interesting thing here is, guys, obviously we have seen price come down to this level once before, right? We came down to the 786. We front ran it with slight. And when I mean slight, right? Lower lows on our price action, higher lows on our momentum waves here on the 2-day, giving us that slight 2-day bullish divergence. However, this wasn't a very strong bullish divergence. And on top of that, we also had money flow crossing over into the red, which made us look at that as a lackluster retracement to the upside, lower highs for another drop to the downside to finally tap that key level of support, being that 786 and that weekly naked point of control, sitting down at the just underneath the 786 at about $75,000, guys. And not only have we come down to that key level of support, but we have also put in some nice bullish divergences here. We obviously had the daily bullish divergence confirm on Wednesday, right? That's kind of old news at this point, but we did get the 2-day bullish divergence to confirm here into, again, that key level of support. So we do have some high time frame bullish divergences here, guys. 2-day bull div is confirmed. 3-day bull div is printed or confirmed. And then the 4-day, right? We have the 4-day green dot and technical bullish divergence here as well. And as you guys know, going into the past couple of weekends, right? Last weekend, not this past one, but the one before that, we were looking at the possibility of potentially putting in those divergences and seeing the weekly VWAP curve towards that zero line, looking to print a green dot here. Finally, guys, we wound up getting that to print. And if you guys watched the market update on Friday that we dropped, you will know that we were looking at some key levels of local resistance, and not even just key levels of resistance, but we were looking at the fact that we had these liquidations sitting above these highs here at about $84,500, and we were looking at the fact that if we were able to creep up here and tap into those liquidations, it may be able to push us through those liquidations into our target here at about $86,000. Now, we also do have some higher targets as well, but the local target here on the local volume profile was at about $86,000. We pushed through that liquidity and went ahead and tapped that value area high, and not only is this a value area high, but it is also a 786 Fibonacci retracement. So I do just, before we kind of talk about, I'm going to go back to the higher time frames in a second. But before, I don't want anyone thinking I'm just, this is the bottom, we're going up in a straight line. Obviously, that is not the case. But I do just want to point out, in case we reject here locally, you do have the 786 and the value area high here, which we did come up and tap. we had some slight bearish divergences into that value area high here over the weekend, right? Higher highs, lower highs, money flow continues down, and we kind of just been chopping around here, right? There's no real, we didn't really get, I mean, we got a nice little reaction, at least to the tune of about 3.47%. But for the most part, right, we came up, we filled those liquidations into the value area high, and we have a lot of local levels to look at, guys. We have a nice current range that we're ranging around in. I want to talk about the next, not only key targets to the upside, but also the key levels of resistance that we have to watch. But just in case we see price move fast here, I just want to point out 786, this was the next key level of resistance we were looking at. I don't typically trade over the weekend, so I did not take a short entry here as I was not on the chart as we approached here. But we did come up into that value area high with some low time frame, bearish divergences, as well as money flow coming out. But for the most part, like no real like strong reaction here. We're kind of just going sideways. But nice to see that those liquidations, guys, do indeed tend to act as a magnet for price. And you can see once you get inside of them, typically you do see them fill in full, especially when you have that key level of resistance above, right? We also had a daily level in here as well, but I took it off the chart as it is tapped. But I want to come over to the higher time frames really quickly with you guys and just talk about this, right? Because we have a lot of really interesting things popping up here, right? I'll go over the bullish puzzle pieces. Number one, daily bullish divergence, 2-day bullish divergence, the 3-day bull div. We have higher time frame green dots or daily green dots printing on almost every daily time frame, 5-day green dot, 6-day green dot, and then, of course, that beautiful, beautiful weekly green dot that we've been looking for. And, guys, all this together could potentially, and again, not necessarily expecting a straight line to the upside, but all of this, as we push into this key level of support, could give us that bigger retracement that we've been talking about forever, potentially targeting $91,000 to $97,000, the same targets that we've been looking at forever, right? But the fact that we now have, and you might say to yourself, well, Frankie, last time we had the 2-day bull div, right? Like it kind of just gave us that lower high and the lower low, which is to be expected, right? Because of our money flow crossing over into the red. And this time is a little bit different, right? I am feeling a little bit better at this point just because we have cleaner and like just nicer bullish divergences here on the 2-day. And back here, right, on this little retracement to the upside, not only did we have a fresh money flow crossover into the red on the 2-day, but we also didn't have the weekly green dot, right? We did not have a lot of the things that we have popping up on the chart right now. So there are a lot of things pointing, guys, to this potentially being a low or the low, right? And I don't necessarily mean the low forever, right, to immediate all-time highs, but I want to walk you guys through my general plan here and what I'm looking for moving forward. But just from a simple perspective, right, we have always been looking at the loss of this range low as a potential possibility to see a big washout here down to about $80,000 to $75,000, right? I talk about this in the Bitcoin 2025 prediction video that I made. I even mentioned briefly as we were up here, like, hey, things look good, but just don't be scared. If we do get a correction down, I could see a correction coming in between 80 and 75,000 because this is our golden pocket 786 retracement. And if we are going to see some kind of a significant pullback before seeing new all-time highs in a bull market, where are we going to be looking for those higher lows, guys? It's going to be pulled. At least the first opportunity is here on this local golden pocket 786. This is where we look for higher lows in an uptrend, obviously, on those retracements, right? Look for the light pullback into the Fibonacci levels for the higher low and another break of structure to the upside. And I hope that this is the case, guys. I hope that this is the low. And again, we do have signs on the chart, and I'm going to kind of backtest this, or not backtest it, but go back in time and kind of show you guys what we've seen before on these same confirmations. But, I hope that this is potentially, and I'm not calling it right now, right? There's no point in calling it right now because we could see things change on the chart tomorrow, right? But as of right now with these bull divs, this is the best chance that we have than any to see some kind of a significant retracement. First off, targeting $91,000, where we have our macro value area low. Let me actually just pull that up over here. Bada boom, pull up the daily chart, right? So we have the upper value area right here, right? We have the $91,000 value area low, right? That is going to be the doorway to higher prices. This has been that massive level of resistance that we've been watching forever. And if we are able to wiggle our way up there, guys, if we're going to get that bigger retracement, this would be the first. I don't want to say the first, but this is going to be like the first major key level, because once we flip this, guys, in my opinion, that is good for more upside on Bitcoin, at least targeting the POC at $97,000. And then once we flip that POC, we could potentially look up towards the value area high sitting at about $103,000. And I'll be honest, like once we get over this key level, I would start to open up the idea that we could potentially break that 786 and go off into new all-time highs. But we do have to be very careful with the high time frame money flow. If we come on over to the 2-day, sure, we have the bull div into a key level. This could be a very bullish sign for a potential continuation up, even if we cool off a little bit. This could be very, very good for a higher low, right, into new all-time highs, but we have to be careful because once that money flow, as this money flow is still in the red on the 2-day and even on the 3-day, right, like still kind of like bleeding out here just a little bit. So we do have to view this still as of right now as a lackluster retracement to potentially put in lower highs and lower lows. And these are the three big levels. $91,000 value area low. I would say $97,000 POC golden pocket. The golden pocket starts at about 96,350. POC comes in at closer to 97,000. And then technically, the 786 is another level that we could potentially put the lower high in at. But once we start cracking above that POC, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be hard for me not to be looking for all-time highs. Now, if we came up there and we got some bearish signals, sure, we're probably going to be taking some scalp short positions. That could potentially turn into a massive drop. But for the most part, guys, 2-day bull divs into key levels of support. And I'm also going to take a look at some other things as well as far as gold. I'm going to take a look at the gold chart. We're going to take a look at the S&P 500. But I don't know, right? Bull divs into a high time frame bull divs, right? This isn't a 15-minute bull div. This is a 2-day bull div. And again, that weekly green dot, guys, the last weekly green dot that we had was all the way back here on Monday, September 16th. Of 2024. And what happened after that, right? It was a very similar kind of situation where we had seen the market go sideways and slowly bleed out. We had that big capitulation on August 5th, and then we come up higher low. We start putting in a little bit of an uptrend, and then we get that weekly green dot, and we end up seeing a pretty significant move to the upside to the tune of about 92%, right? Now, does that mean that we're just going to yeet on off to, what would that be? Not 150, 160K? Yeah, like 160-something thousand. Not necessarily, but this would be the hope, right? And I'm obviously going to cover the bearish case with you guys as well because, we're not just going to be like, oh my God, the bullish signs are there. That's it. FOMO long and don't put a stop loss. We're definitely going to all-time highs. I do not want to cause that chaos in anybody's head. There is a chance that we could see the bearish case play out, which I will go over. But for the most part, right, like bullish puzzle pieces, 2-day, 3-day, 4-day bull divs, right? Weekly green dot into a key level of support, right? The only other thing that, like, the only reason that I wouldn't be like super massively like this is for sure the low is honestly, guys, just the money flow, right? Like the 2-day money flow doesn't look great. Even the weekly money flow, coming out is not great, right? What we want to see here on this bigger retracement is we want to see that weekly money flow come up in a big way, right? We do not want it to come up, put in a lower high, and cross over into the red. If that happens as we retest any of these key levels of resistance, we are 100% at risk of putting in lower highs and lower lows, right? But right now, very clean bull div on that 2-day, right? Like I said, that weekly green dot was not printing on the last 2-day bull div. And that's why, part of the reason, right, why we were looking for lackluster retracements to the upside for lower highs and lower lows, right? On top of the fresh 2-day money flow crossover into the red that we had, right? Now this 2-day money flow crossover is a little bit more developed. Typically, if you could spend some time in the red like we have, it's a little bit of a better chance that you can come up and cross back into the green. But these look pretty good, guys. These are nice bullish signals. And if we come back in time here, I don't know. Yeah, I guess we could talk about this, right? We talked about on a recent stream, I think it was on Thursday, we talked about how, this is very, very similar to what we're seeing happen, right? You get the big drop to the downside. You have these like 3 drives of lows come in before continuing back to the upside, right? And, it's very hard to say like exactly how this is going to shake out, right? Like, are we just going to, put the 2-day bull div in and then just kind of start an uptrend and continue up here? Are we going to kind of bing bong around in our current range that we have here, which I will go over in just a second and show you guys kind of the local situation and how I'm handling price action on the lower time frames. But, it's really hard, right? Like, are we going to come down here? Are we going to put another low in? Are we going to kind of just, keep putting in higher lows and creep to the upside? I will say, if we can get a formation or a bottom that looks more like this, I would be very happy to see that, guys, because, we've talked about this in the past. Bitcoin does like to kind of slowly roar into new all-time highs. And we talked about this, not recently, but if you come on over to the Bitstamp chart, right, like anytime we go to break significant highs, a lot of times, guys, it does like to kind of get these like it just slowly roars into those all-time highs. And obviously this is a little bit different because this was a Black Swan event with a massive dump. But if we just kind of draw this out, this is what we were looking at in our last 7-month consolidation range that we had, when we were up here and we were comparing that bottom structure to this bottom structure, right? Very, very similar, where we kind of have, like, it was almost the same exact thing where you kind of just come in, you get the capitulation event, and then you just slowly roar your way in to break that all-time high. If we could get something like that, guys, I would feel even better about potentially breaking all-time highs. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not just saying that we're about to see all-time highs. Like I said, 2-day money flow would technically make us look for lower highs and lower lows until proven otherwise. We're hoping it's going to be until proven otherwise. But if we could get a formation like that, it could potentially, again, that would kind of look like this, right? You come down, right? Big dump to the downside, higher lows, and then you kind of just get that like slow roar into those all-time highs. I would love for that to happen. It's just something that we've seen happen many times. And like even here, right? Like same thing. Whoops. Where'd it go? Bada boom, right? So you kind of range around and then you roar into those all-time highs. You range around, you roar into those all-time highs. That would be really nice, right? And I'm not going to trade based off that. I'm just kind of showing like how these bottoms sometimes come in. And another way we were kind of comparing it was to this dump in May of 2021, right? If we pull this real quick, right, to the high, right? Whoops. Come on. There we go, right? I probably shouldn't have pulled so much of this, right? But this bottom also looks very, very similar, right? Where you get one drop, two drops, and then that third drop doesn't really break the low, which could be like kind of what we're in the middle of if we do get a cool off, right? Maybe we don't break the low. That would also help us to get that kind of like slow roar up into the all-time highs. But I will say, right, like 2-day bull divs, guys, we already got a pretty nice move up. I don't think it's unlikely to see a continuation up here, right? Not 100% guarantee, but on top of that, we have many, many other things that are pretty interesting to me, right? If we take a look, or just in general, right? Beautiful 2-day bullish divergence, right? If we start to look at the previous times where we had 2-day bull divs, and 2-day bull divs are a big thing that we look at on the altcoins. Like last time we got the big rips on the alts, 2-day bull divs were one of the big things that we were looking at that was kind of pointing towards that big reversal, and it wound up playing out in a very big way. But when you see these, I could try to find a, like there wasn't really a 2-day bull div here. It's not like the prettiest divergence, but you technically have like lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, and then you finally come up, you kind of work yourself out here, and finally you start to break out of the range and you get the big move up. This looks somewhat similar to me, right? And I'm not just betting on it's. Hopefully, it plays out like this or just plays out like this, right? We're only going to be trading off of actual signals or actual confirmations at our key levels. But I'll just say, in general, guys, like these high time frame bull divs are usually no joke. The only thing we have going against us is money flow. So again, I'm going to expect something like this. If this does give us more, however this works out in the short term, right, or medium term is one thing, right? Maybe we kind of just swoop up. And again, that would be nice. That would be nice to see for a potential break of all-time highs. Or maybe, we come down one more time. We don't exactly break the low like we did back here, right? You rip down, come back up. You get one more dump. It's super scary, but you don't actually break the low, and then you just continue up. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of chop here. But in the meantime, right, like having those 2-day bull divs come in usually gives us somewhat of a strong bottom, right? I would just really love to see that money flow come up. It's the only thing going against us. So until proven otherwise, I will be looking at this, even if we get a big rip to the upside, lackluster retracements, lower highs, and lower lows. If we come up and that money flow comes up, I am looking higher, right? Honestly, once we break $91,000, I'm really starting to feel pretty bullish, right? Because we know that value area low is going to be the doorway to higher prices, as we always look at, right? We have it labeled as a doorway to higher prices for a reason, right? We get back in there, flip it to support. POC is the next stop for price. If we get those bearish confirmations and money flow is still coming out on the higher time frames, you bet your bottom dollar, even if it's not the popular thing to say, I am going to be looking for big rejections there, plain and simple, right? But at that point, right, you're already within your volume profile. The laws of the volume profile say hold that value area low, go to the POC, flip that POC, go to the high. And at that point, guys, very similar to what we were looking at over here, saying, hey, if we can get above that 786, we're looking for all-time highs. It's going to be the same thing here, right? There are two major ranges on the chart. Well, there's more than two major ranges, but there's two like simple ranges. I don't want to cover every single like intermediary level with everybody here just because it gets really messy, right? I try to keep things as simple as possible on the YouTube live streams, but obviously we have our upper value area here. We have our obvious lower value area sitting right down here. Hopefully we don't have to visit this. This is not necessarily completely off the table, guys. I do want to point that out, right? If we do see some kind of a crazy dump, anything can happen here, guys. One bad tweet, one bad FOMC meeting, one bad news event, right? Who knows? We could get that bigger drop down. And we know $72,000 to $70,000 is going to be that next key level of support if we do break these lows. But I'll be honest, like even if we come back to these lows, I might still be looking for longs personally. But right now with those 2-day bull divs, let's assume if this is the low, 91, 97, and $103,000 are the big, massive resistance levels that we must get above. And I would probably put more weight on 91 and 97,000. Once we get above that PLC, like I said, that's going to look pretty good for a potential breakout, in my opinion, right? We have to reassess the situation as we come into those prices. So that's what I'm looking at. And another thing that we've been paying a lot of attention to, guys, is this long-term trend line, right? Just completely hammering us down every time we come up to it, right? Little pop to the upside, rejection, pop to the upside, didn't really tap it there, rejected, right? And as you guys know, if you watched the market update on Friday, shout out to anybody who did, looking for that liquidity above to get taken, and well, look what happens. We pop into that liquidity, you get the pop up to that local resistance level, but you guys know we did talk about this trend line in that video saying, hey, we're finally coming up to play around with this trend line. All we want to make sure of is that we don't come up and sweep that liquidity that we had up here. We did not want to see a fast sweep of liquidity, right, with a big wick rejection and a drop back down below that trend line. That would have been very, very, very bearish in my opinion. But good news, at least as of right now, we kind of avoided that, at least as of right now, right? Doesn't mean that we can't continue down. I'm just saying, you know, we didn't really see that same thing that we saw here, right? We saw that big wick up into local resistance, SFP'd that trend line, and then we lost it and came back down, right? We did not want to see that same thing. And we had an opportunity to do that because we had those liquidations sitting there, right? Come up, sweep out that liquidity, close down here, and dump to the downside. We avoided that, which is very, very, very nice. So, you know, as of right now, guys, like even if we get a little bit of turbulence, could still, my hope here is that we hold the local market structure in a bullish manner, right? Like hopefully we could just keep on putting in higher lows and higher highs to push up towards that next key level of resistance. And we have local levels in here that we're going to talk about. I'm going to show you guys kind of the lens that I'm looking through, like current price action through. But from a high time frame perspective, guys, those are the bullish signs. They are definitely there. There are definitely multiple layered on top of each other. And again, this is not a signal to say buy right now. We're definitely going to all-time highs, right? Like we don't know what's going to happen. But from a chart perspective, I don't hate this. And then when you start to look at things like gold, right? Let's come on over to gold real quick, right? You come on over to gold. This is interesting to me because typically, if we pull this up side by side with Bitcoin, let's pull this up on the daily time frame. Let's pull it up on the 2-day so we can kind of compress it, right? And then let's pull this up, pull Bitcoin up on the 2-day, right? That's the 3-day, bada boom, bada bing, right? So last time we got that big leg to the upside on Bitcoin, right? If I zoom in here real quick, last time we got the last leg to the upside in this bull market, what was happening to gold, right? If we just kind of, if you see my cursor on both sides of the screen here, when we got that push up on Bitcoin, right? What was happening to gold? Gold was absolutely dumping. Well, this is interesting, right? Because as gold has been on an absolute tear to the upside, as Bitcoin has been absolutely tanking, right? We are starting to see a similar situation to what we had back here. Now, again, this is not guaranteed, but if we take a look at the daily time frame on gold, what happened on this last dump to the downside, right? The last time Bitcoin dumped, right? This happens to gold, Bitcoin does this, right? Dumps, pumps, right? And when we look at this, right, what was happening here? We were in the middle of a massive rally here, right? As Bitcoin was obviously chopping around here and kind of getting wrecked. We wound up putting in some nice daily bearish divergences with money flow starting to come out, right? Starting to come down a little bit there. And then we got the big drop down. Bitcoin gets the next leg up. What are we seeing on gold right now? We do have our higher on price action, our potential lower highs on our momentum waves, right? Giving us a potential daily bearish divergence. Now, this is not printing just yet, right? But that VWAP is rolling over. If we could print that red dot here on the daily and confirm that bearish divergence, guys, and we can start to see gold break down a little bit, it might give us the fuel we need to potentially get another leg up. Now, again, whether that leg up is to that $97,000 POC that we have up here, right, for a lower high and a lower low, or if that's just going to be a breakdown and Bitcoin's going to rip up to new all-time highs like it did back here, right? Last time we made a new all-time high was back here on gold. If we can get another dump, we might be able to get that new all-time high. Just a very similar thing. You start to look at gold looking to potentially cool off. And like, if you just look at gold alone, right? Like daily bearish divergences, VWAP coming down on the daily, looking for a red dot, right? Come on down to some of these time frames. Money flow starting to leak to the downside here. You even already have your 12-hour bear div printing, right? You start to see that if we could get that daily money flow to creep out here, 16-hour money flow and red dot printing, money flow starting to come out a bit. Take a look at the weekly. Weekly money flow is thick boy in the green. But that is, I would watch this daily bear div on gold. If we could start to get gold to pull back, that would be another thing you can look at to potentially see Bitcoin get another pop to the upside. And then on top of that, right, let me see here. let's look at the ES real quick. Let's look at the S&P, right? So I was looking at this with the premium Discord in our premium live stream earlier today, and this is interesting, right? I don't know why I can't get these lines off the chart. This is really annoying. I wish we did not have to see these lines. But when we look at this, right, we have this previous value area sitting between about 5,400 and about 5,662. This previous value area, you could see, we are starting to test this once again, right? We have gotten the big drop to the downside, got a super big bounce, right? And now we are tapping our head on this value area low. And what do we know about value area lows, guys? If we can get above that level, guys, it could be a doorway to higher prices, right? Simply put, if we could get above this level and get a push into that POC, this would be good for Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin's basically been following the stock market. So we can get above there. That's the key level to break on the S&P, in my opinion, right? Push into the POC sitting at about 55.24. Flip that POC. Look for the move into the golden pocket value area high, sitting at about 56.52. Right, and this volume profile is pulled just from back here, right? It's like a little mini volume profile that we had. So yeah, this is nice, right? Like we have not only Bitcoin, I would say like, not only is Bitcoin potentially looking to go up and retest its previous value area low. We're not there just yet, right? But it's nice to see that gold is putting in that daily bear div. S&P is testing this value area low, potentially doorway to higher prices. If we could break up in here, this could be good. Now, obviously, the one thing we have to be careful of is if we get rejected, right? And there's two major levels I'm looking at for that, right? Number one is we maybe, value area lows are always going to be resistance until proven otherwise, right? So, we came up, we already rejected, come up, we could reject again. As long as we don't absolutely dump from that value area low, I do think there is a possibility to get above that low and see things kind of recover here a little bit, right? For at least a little bit more of a relief rally. Now, the next biggest level of resistance I would be looking at here on the S&P is sitting between 56.49 and all the way up to the top of the golden pocket at about 56.94, right? Because if we're going to continue a massive downtrend, right, this could be an area to put in another lower high, right? This golden pocket. Very, very important level to look at. But at that point, right, if we do get up here, probably Bitcoin getting a little bit of a pump ski, right? But we do just have to be careful at that level. Very similar to us being careful at the $91,000 level for Bitcoin or even the $97,000 level for Bitcoin. This is kind of what I'm looking at on the S&P. Because obviously, if the S&P winds up dumping from here, Bitcoin is very likely not going to care about the 2-day bear div, bull div, right? It's probably not going to care about any of the things that we just looked at, and it's probably just going to follow the stock market, right? But I wouldn't really hate to see, again, maybe we get a little bit of noise here. Hopefully we can hold above that trend line and just see that continuation up. Higher time frames do look like, there's really nothing else on the chart that we could see other than a green dot on the weekly and massive higher time frame bull divs to look for at least some kind of a bigger retracement up and potentially blast off into new all-time highs. And I don't want to cause FOMO or anything, right? We're not saying we're going up exactly from here, but that does look good. These higher time frames do take some time to play out. But again, you start looking at gold, you start looking at the S&P. I don't know, right? And again, not impossible to get a move back to the downside, right? Like I'll talk about kind of key levels that I'm watching within here. But that's the higher time frame perspective. Massive higher time frame bullish signals. We pushed into the key level of support that we have been looking at since January, patiently waiting for that whole thing to play out. And I was hoping. It would have been really nice if we just came out, swept all that massive liquidity down here, and then just got a beautiful, beautiful swing failure pattern of the weekly naked point of control at 75K, right? But the markets don't always give you that nice clean price action, right? More often than not, it's going to be confusing. Oh my God, we're back up. Now we're back down. Oh my God, we're back up. We're back down, back up, right? And then finally, you come down and tap that level with bull divs, right? So doesn't look too bad on the higher time frames in my opinion, at least for some, more decent upside. But now I want to drop down into the lower time frames. I'm going to come check in on chat real quick, but then we'll jump into the lower time frames. Let me go ahead and hide this trend line, and we'll take a look here. But next major level of resistance, guys, 91K. Same level we've been looking at. And then again, I'll show you the local levels I'm looking at as well. All right, let's see here. Shout out to Wayne C. Said, I'm still catching up on premium live stream, taking too many notes. I got behind. Yo, shout out to Wayne C. That's how you do it, baby. Take those notes. Take the time. Put in the work, baby. Shout out to Wayne C. Let's go, baby. Shout out to Just TP. I like that name, bro. It says, can you check out XRP? Yeah, we're going to take a look at XRP in a minute. Let's see. At least I've hit the like as always. Shout out to Jesse in the chat. Our like police guys. Show Jesse some love. And the way you show him love is by smashing that like button. Shout out to Jesse, our like police. Appreciate you, bro. Welcome in. Let's see. We got Mark Dutch in the chat. Said Flat Smack in the chat. Shout out to Flat Smack. Let's go, baby. All in YOLO. Shout out to Flat Smack. 100x long. Full port long. 100x right now. Do or die, baby. Do or die. When Lambo. Shout out to Sanji. Lambo. I would say Lambo. I'm going to say Lambo in June, on June 5th of this year at 6:04 p.m. I'm just kidding. That was a total joke and totally made up. Shout out to Sanchi. Let's see. Yeah, sell your Lamborghini and buy more Bitcoin. Absolutely. Shout out to Flatsmack. All right, so let's shout out to Toasty Fries. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in. But yeah, let's continue on here. What do we got? What's the poll? What did Tony throw on the poll today? Let's check it. What do you guys think? Are we bullish or bearish? Bullish, baby. Send it. 60% of the mafia thinks we're going up. And I tend to generally agree, right? And again, that's not just a general signal we're going up from here. Tomorrow, we could have a red day, right? And that's okay as long as we don't really get the big, break those real key levels. But let's talk about this, guys, because we do have a lot of levels to look at, right? Overall, we have 3 major profiles right now, at least currently. You have your upper value area right here, and I'll just draw them just roughly just to show you guys, right? Profile number 1 right here. Value area low. It's not pulled perfectly, but the value area low is really at 91K. But you have your upper value area here. You have your much lower value area down here. That's brings you all the way down to 60K and below, right? And then we have this kind of chop down here, which is kind of one of those slow grind situations, similar to what we had back here, right? Where it's not super, super beautiful, but it is somewhat of a range. So you do also have another volume profile sitting right there. And we've kind of been looking at this volume profile over the past couple weeks, just as it's kind of developing. We have the local range, we have the larger current range, and I want to break those down with you guys right now. So number 1, right? The main range I'm watching right now, right? Right here, right? Now, just for context, the local range that we were looking at on Friday, which has played out at this point, right? We looked, what was that was Friday, right? We were kind of bing-bonging around here, right? Because it did not go live. Did that update right here saying, hey, watch that liquidity over the weekend. Let's see if we can come up and sweep it, right? And we did get that. So that is now, I'm going to go ahead and hide that, right? Because we do have a bigger range to look at. And that is sitting right here with our value area low at $81,641. POC sitting right here at $83,183. And then you have your value area high up here at $88,200. Next big level of resistance. For me personally, right now, we were below our range. We came up, caught this short here from the POC, right? And then we got back up, back into the range, flipped that POC. At this point, right, we could see some turbulence. Remember, POC is the highest volume node, a.k.a. the area where the most volume was transacted, a.k.a. the strongest magnet within the profile. Simply put, we do like to chop around and bing bong up and down. We say this almost every live stream, right? Be careful around the POCs because sometimes you could lose it, get back above, bing bong, right? Especially over weekends. If you're stuck on a POC over a weekend, very often, like you can see here, this was the weekend dump. But if you can get stuck on a POC over the weekend, usually you kind of just cling to it. So just be careful, right? If we do come down, you might be able to lose it. But for the most part, at this point, this is the range that I'm looking at. And there's a couple of them, right? Because we have a local range, we have this range, and then the other ones are just macro ranges, right? We're not at those levels yet, so we don't have to worry about that. But this is overall what I'm looking at. If we stay above this POC, for the most part, we could lose it, briefly. 83,166, right? We've already gotten above the POC, flip it to support, right? If we come down, maybe you bing bong around a little bit. We have some long setups in the premium Discord from some levels down here. But hold above that POC for the most part. Doorway is open to $88,000. Not only do we have the volume profile saying, hey, go to the value area low, next place to go, POC, flip that POC, you're looking to the value area high. So you have your volume profile looking for that to potentially be the case, plus the 2-day bull divs, plus the 3-day bull div, etc. Right? But we also have our, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Let me pull up a higher time frame on the liquidation heat maps. But you guys can see I have a liquidity box up here, and you all know what happened to the last liquidity box. We did wind up taking it. But if we do, let me see if I can pull this up. Come on, load, baby, load. Work for me. Work for me. Why won't this work? Work for me. Work for me. Take a sip of that black coffee while we wait for this. Come on. Calculating. There we go. So you guys can see here. Take a look at that heat map. $88,400, guys. That is the next area, right? Other than 67 to 65,000, right? Like when we look at this heat map over on the 1 month, right? Biggest areas of liquidity. Number one was up here, 84.5. That was the one that we were looking at over the weekend, right? What happens, right? So funny, right? We bing bong around here, right? Liquidity above. Are we going to take it over the weekend? Watch for it to act as a magnet. We come up, we sweep it, and now we're just going sideways, right? But question is, are we going to go for this 88,700 or 88.5 liquidity, or are we going to come down here for 67.6? Well, all of the bullish divergences, the weekly green dot, and many other signs are pointing to probably coming up here first, right? In my opinion. Could be wrong, guys. Could be wrong. But more often than not, we are right. But, you know, that liquidity does sit 88.4. It's sitting right above these highs, right? So not only do you have the value area high as your next target in the profile, but you also have all that significant liquidity. And when we look at the heat map, right, there's not that much in the way there, right? Like maybe we have some low time frame liquidity up here that we could sweep. Maybe we come down from where we are right now. Because remember, we are at that key level of resistance that we looked at on Friday's market update. But the next significant area of liquidity is sitting up here, right? And then 67 to 65K is super far away. So this is closer, right? 88,000. You have the confluence with your value area high. And liquidity does act as a magnet for price, guys. So, you know, this would kind of, you know, a few different things pointing towards potentially coming up to that $88,000 level. I would absolutely love that, right? And then once we get up here, the question is, are we going to get the short setup, which we obviously will be looking for in the premium Discord? Are we going to get the short setup up here for maybe a move back down to the low? Potentially to, you know, continue to build out this kind of awkward bottom structure that we have, right? We don't know how this is going to look long term, right? We don't know what this bottom is going to look like exactly. Oftentimes, bottoms do look like the low comes in on high time frame divergences. But really what I like to see on those high time frame divergences is money flow coming up. That's one thing that we don't have. But even so, it would call for some kind of push up, just maybe not a massive continuation. And again, I would say I don't fall in the camp that the bull market is completely over, right? So this kind of goes along with my overall thesis, right? Like I don't think the bull market's completely over. So if we do work our way up, again, how that looks, are we going to come down here, right? Are we going to come down first? Are we going to sweep this liquidity first, put in higher lows? Like, is it going to look like that? Or is it just going to be like that 3 drive and that's the bottom, right? We don't know exactly what it's going to look like. But what we can do is mark out the key levels on the chart and only react when we hit those key levels, right? So yeah, overall, hold above this POC and value area low. We could look for the continuation up into that liquidity. Acts as a magnet for price. Once we get up there, the question is, are we getting the short setup or is this liquidity just going to act as a fuel for a bigger continuation up? Now, once we get to 88K, right? $91,000 and $97,000 are the biggest macro levels of resistance on a higher time frame, right? Like I'm talking multiple daily time frame, right? Like 2-day, 3-day, weekly, like the biggest levels of resistance, 91, 97K, right? We looked at it over here. I'll even mark this off with like purple boxes, right? 97, 91K. Those are the biggest levels of resistance. And then locally, we have the $88,000 value area high. And even more locally, we have about 86,000, which doesn't have a ton of confluence, but we're kind of tapping. That would be like the next local level above, right? But again, I don't want to give too many levels here. I really want to talk about the significant levels that most people are going to find, relevant, right? Not everybody's looking to snipe every single move, but that's the major range, right? So get this on your chart if you do not have it already. Value area low 81,648, POC 83,154, value area high 88,250, right? And then you have the liquidity above. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. If we cool off here, right, again, we do have areas where we're looking for long positions in the premium. I'm not going to bring that up because it wouldn't be fair for the people who pay. But, I wouldn't be, upset if we got little cool-offs, right? But I would like to at least hold the value area low, if not hold the POC, right? But as long as we remain in this range, that's what I'm looking at for the guide for our price action, right? Very similar to this. We come down to the value area low, look to go back to the POC, and then back up to the value area high. You reject the value area high, go back to the POC, and back to the low. Now, we have deviated below the low, put a nice bull div here in on the 2-day, get back in, flip it to support above the POC, into the value area high, right? So overall, that's kind of what we're hoping for. If we pull back here, we will be looking for local long entries for higher lows and continuations up. Now, if we lose this range in a bigger way, right? If we start dumping here, lose the value area low and get the bigger drop down, we can cross that bridge when we get there. Obviously, we are going to have, let me pull up some of these levels, right? So we have Weekly level, let me pull up some MPOCs that we got going on, right? So we have a daily naked point of control. Again, like if we start pulling our Fibonacci retracements, right? So I'll pull from this. Yeah, so you have a golden pocket just underneath your value area low. Daily naked point of control at 82.4, right? So, maybe we kind of play around on our POC. I'm not going to try to call exactly what's going to happen here before putting in a higher low and continuing up. But these are the key levels down below, right? I again, stay inside this range, potential doorway to 88K. Me personally, I'm not in a trade right now, right? Unless we come down for our long entry or come up for a short entry. That's where I'm looking for my next trades. Right now, I'm letting things play out, right? We have a little local volume profile here. We'll just let that kind of bing bong around. But for the most part, we'll see what happens here, right? We want to hold above this value area low, 81,648. And as far as money flow, like money flow's kind of been like low-key choppy lately. Let's pull up like the 4 hour, right? Like 4 hours, like, yeah, it's in the green, it's in the red, it's in the green, it's in the red, it's in the green, it's in the red, right? So I am focused a lot more on the key levels as of right now until like the chop stops, right? Like there's no way to avoid this. When you have choppy price action, you're going to get choppy money flow. It's just how it works. So yeah, kind of let the, get a little bit more of a clearer signal on this money flow. But these are the key levels down below, guys, right? Like trying to build out some confluence here, like value area low. Yeah, like value area low golden pocket. I would say like 81.5. You would really want to start holding 81.5, right? Like I wouldn't really be a fan. Like if you stay down here, right, back down to the value area low, you could still reclaim for the bigger move up. 786, like once you start getting down there, lose the 786, I'd be looking much lower, right? And then if we pull this, right, 786, daily naked point of control at about 77.2, 77.250, this could be another level where we could look for a bounce. But for the most part, hopefully we could stay within this range. If we lose it, in the worst case, I'd be looking down towards 77.2. Golden pocket again. This is actually, yeah. This would be like, I wouldn't really want to go below. You go below that 786, you're probably going to take the lows. In my opinion. But yeah, we can cross that bridge when we get there. But for the most part, let's see if we can continue this move to the upside. Push into that value area high. I don't really care what happens at this point, right? If we come up, I'll look for the short. If we come down, maybe I do prefer a move down first to get into a long, because I didn't miss the long. I just didn't get my setup down here. Was looking for bull divs and SFPs down here. Didn't get either of them. So like literally no reason to enter that trade. So, but yeah. So yeah, I think that's what we got, guys. Those are the key levels that I'm looking at. I really wanted to talk about the high time frame bullish confirmations that we're seeing, because this is, again, and then you compare it to gold, what's happened in the past, the bear div forming on gold. It is really, really, really interesting that we could potentially see a little bit more of a relief rally here. Take a look at the DXY as well. All right, DXY, kaboomed, right? Like absolute dump to the downside here. And this was something, I'm actually surprised. This was something we were looking at recently, was the money flow coming out on the DXY, right? Once that money flow on the daily comes out on the DXY, typically we do get significant dumps, right? Which is typically good for Bitcoin, right? We haven't seen fireworks just yet, but this is nice to see the DXY breaking down a little bit, right? This is typically good for the price action on Bitcoin. Let's see. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any chats up here. Yo, shout out to Flatsmack said I'm gonna buy an 85-inch high definition monitor to watch the charts. Shout out to Flatsmack. That sounds absolutely fire. I don't have an 85-inch. I have like I don't know how big my monitor is. I got a super ultra wide in front of me right now, except I'm looking at it in 1080p because I can't stream in ultra wide because then you guys can't see any of the numbers. But yeah, let's see here. And I do want to take a look at some of the alts in just a second, but I just want to make sure I didn't miss any chats here. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Irving, said printing shirts while you print dots. Let's go. But yeah, I do want to take a quick look at, we'll take a look at Ethereum, right? That's what we're looking at on Bitcoin. Does anybody have any questions? This is for the most part, what we're looking at, let's hope that we can hold above these key levels and continue the upside. If we start breaking down, you have those next local key levels of support down below, and not hyper locally, but we'll see. 4-hour red dot. If we could print that 4-hour red dot with a 15-minute money flow crossover into the red, that might be where we get a little bit more of a cool off. But again, like I said, I'm not really worried about like low time frame chop, right? But we're just hoping, right, in the long term that we're able to maintain the higher highs and the higher lows, at least locally here, right? Like, I don't even know if I would like that, to be honest. I would rather, I would really prefer in like an ideal situation, right? Like pull back maybe towards about 81,500, which is pretty much right near the value area low, local golden pocket. I would like that. Like stay above this general zone. We can continue that uptrend and target that $88,000 level. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that local level of resistance, which, again, is a 786, right? If I just pull that up one more time, right, from Friday's market update, right, 786 value area high. We are going to continue to reject from there, right? The only thing I don't love about this, right, there's not a ton of confluence up here, if I'm being quite honest, right? We do have the value area high. We have the 786, but that's kind of it, right? We have the daily up there as well. I guess there is a decent bit of confluence. The only thing I don't love about this is if we reject that 786, what is this, right? This is an area where we have an opportunity to put in a lower high and a lower low. When you pull from the high to the low, golden pocket 786 is the area to look for that rejection, right? Which could mean, right, which could give the opportunity, right, for that lower low to come in. But again, I don't know. I kind of feel good about those daily bullish divergences, right? So I wouldn't necessarily expect that right away. But yeah, let's we'll keep an eye here on Bitcoin's price action as we move the stream forward. But I do want to take a look at Ethereum with you guys. Where we at? Bada boom, bada bing. We'll take a look at Ethereum because Ethereum obviously at a very, very important key level here. So yeah, let's take a look. Overall, right? Overall on Ethereum, I will say this, right? Obviously, massive downtrend, right? Like, this thing's been absolutely brutalized. Low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, right? We're just like massive downtrend, right? That's very bearish, obviously. But as of right now, from a volume profile perspective, we are looking at this overall range. And let me clean this up. You guys will remember on Friday's live stream, or even last week, what we were looking at here was this weekly 786 Fibonacci retracement. This is a massive level that we wanted to hold on the weekly, right? This is the 786 when pulled from the low of 2022, bear market low, all the way to the high. If we lost this and did not close the weekly candle above, that would have been immediately very bearish for Ethereum. And I would have very much expected another drop down targeting our bigger value area low, which obviously is sitting down here near $1,300, right? And we even have a lower value area low sitting at about $1,000, right? So if we did not close that weekly candle above that 786, that would have been extremely bearish for Ethereum, right? The nice thing is we closed the weekly candle up there. It doesn't guarantee that we're going to hold it, but it is nice to see that weekly candle close. We also have the green dot, so maybe even if we are going, because you have to remember here, if we look at the bear market range, let me hide these daily levels real quick, just to clean up the chart. I don't want to confuse anybody, right? So, I'll even hide the 786. Like, if we lost this 786, like, because now we're pinned between the 786 and the POC. And when you just look at this from a volume profile perspective, like, I'll just even hide all this as well. When you look at it from a volume profile perspective, well, hey, you get accepted into the range, can't get back out. Next place for price to go is going to be that POC. If you can't get above that POC, you're going to be looking towards that value area low. So key support on Ethereum, if we get another drop, is going to be sitting here. Daily and weekly naked point of control. I believe that's what that is. It's kind of hard to read. I think it's a daily and daily naked point of control and a weekly naked point of control right on top in confluence with that value area low sitting between $1,331 and about $1,300, right? So we could even get a potential retracement here and then come back down and lose the POC, right? Because based off the laws of the volume profile, once you get accepted into the range, POC is next, and then eventually the value area low. So just be careful there. We are still within this lower range. However, the fact that we held that weekly 786 could give us a little bit of relief, especially with that weekly green dot. But if we do see that relief, I just want to point out here, key levels of resistance above. If we get that bigger retracement, let's say holding the 786 is good. We'll say the weekly green dot's going to give us a little bit of a pump. all eyes on the golden pocket, 786 value area high. We also have a weekly in there as well, right? So if we get the bigger retracement, number one, you got to get above the POC at 1630. And then if we get the bigger retracement, golden pockets that next target at 1829 to 1852. Get above that golden pocket. You're looking for the 786 value area high weekly, sitting between 2000 and 1947. Wonderful year. I was alive. Trust me. But that is what we're looking at, right? So I would be careful, right? Just because we're inside this range, there is a possibility to get the bigger breakdown to the value area low. We hope, right, that the hold of that 786 is just going to push us out and we could leave this profile. But as of right now, until we break out of this value area high, and as a matter of fact, I've said this all last week, not just this value area high, but really until we break above the previous value area low at $2,100, in my opinion, until we get out of here and flip that value area low at 2,100 to support, we are not out of the woods here just yet, right? And to be honest, even coming up here, that would be our best sign for more upside, right? But locally, if that weekly green dot gives us a correction back up, could look to come into these retracement levels, but I'd be careful. You got to get above that POC. If we can't get above that POC, we know what comes next, right? And again, here we are. Above it, below it, below it, above it, below it, right? If you can't get back above this, you're looking for that range to fill in full. More often than not, you do get these ranges to fill. But this, unless Bitcoin pumps and Ethereum dumps, which isn't very common, I guess now it's common. Typically, it's not supposed to be normal. But, yeah, I mean, I would just be looking at this as your next key level of support, 1,300. I mean, obviously, if we look at this from a overall range, right? We pulled this a few times where we just look at this overall price action as a massive range, value area low at about $1,000. Technically, deviate above the highs, get sucked back in. POC is the next stop. Get stuck under that POC. Look to go to the value area low. Technically, $1,000 will be on the table in that case too, right? So you do have a lot of work to do, right? To not see this value area low come in, either the $1,000 value area low or even the $1,300 value area low locally. We have a lot to do here to get that out of the question, right? And then this POC 1824, right? You would obviously have to get above that. So I don't know. We really got some work to do here on Ethereum. We got to get above those local value area levels, the local POC, and even from that larger time frame perspective. Yeah, there's that 786 that we hoped to hold, right? Local value area from here. This is one that we've been looking at forever. Hold that 786, right? This is kind of very similar to the POC of the range that we just looked at, right? POC is the value area low of this local range. Once we get above there, we can look for the push to the POC and the value area high. Also, confluent with the golden pocket and the 786, right? So that kind of all lines up. Right, so it's another perspective that you could look at it in, right? Come back up here, bada boom, back down to the bottom of the range, back down to $1,000. Hopefully not, right? Hopefully we could just get a push up, have money flow come up, and just that's not the case. But that's how we have to view price action right now on Ethereum, at least, through the lens of the money flow, through the lens of the volume profiles. Yeah. Ugh, man. I wish I didn't have to look at that $1,300 and $1,000 level on Ethereum. But, guys, I thought the same thing when we were looking down where is it? Where the heck is it? Right? I thought the same thing when we were talking about the move down to 1,600, right? I thought, I don't know. If we get stuck in here, guys, we could see that value area low, right? And I hate saying it, but we did wind up seeing that happen. So I got to bring up the levels if they're on the chart. I hope they don't get hit. Don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. I'm not the chart. I just read them. But let's see here. Let me scrub back to the beginning of. Shout out to Mark Smithson. Says Frankie caused the crash. I'm not gonna lie. Low key, guys. If the top is in at 110,000 and Ethereum's not gonna make new all-time highs, you could thank this chair. This chair. Ever since we got this new chair, the market has been garbage. I'm just saying. I'm comfortable in the chair. But the market took a dump. Let's see. We got Wick 589 and Wick's wife, Fine89, in the chat. What is going on, guys? Welcome in. ETH looks like a Pokemon on the weekly. Shout out to, who said that? Who said it? Oh, I missed it. I lost it. I'll never be able to see it again. But yeah, let's see here. I hate that chair. Shout out to K Diggity. Me too. I actually like it. It's really comfortable. But yeah, if it, oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I'll never get a new chair again. Unbelievable. Shout out to Tales of Mystery. But yeah, let's continue on. Shout out to Mikey. Said if ETH hits 1K, I'd buy one as well. Yeah, shout out to Mikey. I mean, listen, I will tell you this, right? I can't promise you that Ethereum's definitely going to go back up into massive all-time highs or whatever, right? But I will just say, just remember this. Most people don't want Ethereum unless it's up here, right? Nobody wants ETH down here, right? Like, it's so hard to explain. It's like so hard to show people, right? Like, if you've ever seen a pump on Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever, and you are not in from the lows, you know how painful it is to watch Bitcoin or any asset go up without you, right? It's a very painful thing to do, right? For me personally, sometimes it's worse than fear, right? The FOMO is worse than the fear. More painful, meaning, right? Just understand, like if you weren't in on Ethereum down here and you were watching it up here going, oh man, I should have bought ETH. What the heck, man? What the heck? Just understand it was just as scary to buy down here, right, as it is down here, right? So yeah, like don't be the people. I'm not saying to buy Ethereum right this second, right? Honestly, again, I wouldn't be surprised to see 1,300 to 1,000, but don't be the person that buys in after you get the massive moves to the upside, right? Like dollar cost averaging is your best friend. I promise you that. Let's see. It's going to be a lot more one day. Yeah, shout out to Mikey. I believe that as well. Let's see. I'm putting tariffs on bread. Shout out to French Toaster. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at on Ethereum. We'll see how this shakes up for the rest of the week. But we'll see. Like key local levels that I would be watching here is, again, I think it's a little easier to look at this through the lens of this local profile. Get above this value area low. This is the local doorway to higher prices, but you got to be careful around the POC and the value area high. These are key levels of resistance, right? Because again, it is in line with those, local POCs on the golden pocket. Value area high is in confluence with the 786, right? So if you don't want to have this is probably a little easier, right? If you get accepted, you start pushing up, you can look at this range, right? And then if you start just getting rejected out of here, you could turn on the bigger range and be like, okay, we're losing the POC. We could look down towards the value area low. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't have to see Ethereum at $1,000. That would be brutal. I saw my Ethereum portfolio the other day, guys. I don't always check my spot bags, but I accidentally had to see it the other day, and it's not up. That's for sure. It's not the highest it's ever been. But let's see. BJK said if you DCA'd on ETH, you're guaranteed to be in the red. Well, true. Shout out to BJK. If you started dollar cost averaging at the top, you 100% would be in the red. But yeah, it's all about where you accumulate, right? Like typically, when Bitcoin's weekly money flow is in the red, that's usually where you want to buy. In that case, get in somewhere here. You might still be in the red, which is hilarious. Not hilarious, but it's pretty crazy, right? So even if you were buying down here, like for me on Bitcoin, right, my average buy-in is between like 21 and 22, 20 and 21K, like somewhere right here, which is very similar, right? Like once Bitcoin's down there, right, we're starting to look down here as well for Ethereum, right? If you get in the middle of this range, right, like you're either in the red or like very close to break even there. So yeah, but most people, right, like most people, there were a lot more people probably buying Ethereum up here and like trying to catch the dip before the new all-time high rather than buying at the lows, right? Like less people are going to buy this. It's harder to buy this and this than it is to buy this and like hope for a higher low, right? Like a lot of people are like, oh my God, the bull run's back. We're going to see everything that we saw in the past, like buy, right? And then they just get absolutely bled out. Nobody really wants to buy down here. Nobody really wants to buy down there. It's very scary, right? I felt like an idiot buying everything that I was buying down at the lows. I felt like a moron. I was like, it's probably going to go lower. I'm like, am I buying the top here? Even though it wasn't anywhere near the top. But it's like, any bottom I've ever bought, I felt like an idiot. Every top I've ever sold, I felt like an idiot. Remember that. It's never going to feel good to sell your crypto, right? Especially when it's going up. And still, it doesn't matter, right? Like most people are just still going to hold and round trip their bags. Doesn't matter what anybody says, right? Like you just sometimes have to feel that pain. But, if Bitcoin goes to 150K, right, you're going to feel, and you sell at 150K, and that's the tippy top before we go into a massive bear market, right? It's going to feel like you're selling at the worst time. You're like, Especially like even if it does go higher, it's even worse, right? Because you'll like sell up here, right, and then it breaks another higher. Like, oh, I shouldn't have sold, right? But at the end of the day, it's really hard to catch the exact top. So if you sell up here, you go for one more high and then it comes down. It's not the end of the world. You're never gonna catch the tippy top, and if you do, I've caught tippy tops before, but there's for sure a large aspect of luck there, right? So just be careful. All right, let's continue on here. Shout out to Andrew JC17 says, feel like DCA is the only way to buy crypto currently or always. Do you ever throw a lump sum into anything? Yeah, shout out to Andrew. For the most part, right? Like I like to DCA. It's very low stress, right? It's also like hands off, right? It's like if you can get like a bot or something that just like dollar cost average automatically for you, it takes the emotion out of buying, especially on big dips. Like DCA bots were my best friend in the bear market, right? Because I was buying without even knowing, right? Like we get a big dump, I wouldn't even know if I bought that day or not, right? Because the bots are doing it for me, right? So I don't have to sit there and be like, I got to buy the blood. Oh, man, this hurts, right? It just does it for me, right? I say, hey, once that weekly money flow crosses over into the red, I'm going to start DCA bots. And what you could do is like a weighted DCA, right? So you start your, so let's say you have your weekly money flow crossover here. You could start your weighted DCA, right? So you could start, I don't start right on the crossover. I like to wait for like the first big drop. So once you start getting that first big drop, I personally started buying like right here. And then I bought a little bit, right? Go up. Didn't care, still bought. Dollar cost average on the way down. I even bought up in here a little bit. And I believe I stopped it like right up in here. But the what you could do is you could start off with a light DCA, right? You don't have to start you don't have to make it all even, right? You could start lightly DCAing in here, right? Like maybe put a little bit in, right? Next drop on, next drop down. You could beef it up a little bit, like a weighted dollar cost average, right? And you get a drop down. You could, dump a little bit extra in, right? And then you could do like regular DCA, right? Another big dump. You can dump a bigger bag in, right? Percentages are going to be like up to you. It's obviously dependent on the trader. But yeah, you could do like the weighted DCA. I really like that, right? Because if you get a big capitulation, you can be like, you know what? I'm going to throw a couple extra bucks in this one, right? And then as it's coming back up on a retracement, you could just do regular dollar cost average, and then boom. All right, dump in another big load, right? And then dollar cost average, right? So yeah, you can, no, but I never, ever, ever, ever say, this is the bottom, I'm going to buy. It's super risky. Not even super risky. It's just like super, if you, let's just say you bought here, right? Because you have to understand, like, it's so much easier to look at it in hindsight, but like, if you come back here, bear with me here, right? If you just say, I think this is the bottom, I'm going to dump my whole bag in, right? And you put all your money in right here. The brutality of watching the massive just like, oh my God, I bought the bottom. I'm a genius. Oh my God, I'm such a genius. This is amazing. This is amazing. Oh, wait, hang on one second. Maybe I'm not a genius. Oh my God. And then you get the big dumps, and you're like, oh, my God, actually, I bought the top. Why did I put my whole bag in here? Now you have no more dry powder to buy lower, right? It's just dollar cost averaging is the way to do it for your spot bags, in my personal opinion. Trying to snipe the bottom is a losing game for the most part, right? Like, we were looking at the weekly bullish divergence to mark the significant lows here, but it's not like I saw that weekly bull div and bought right here. I did buy here, right? But it was just dollar cost averaging. I bought here, and then all up here and all up here, right? That's how you want to do it, in my opinion. Not financial advice, right? Very dangerous to try. Everyone just wants to know, like, where should I buy, right? I don't want it to go down anymore. I just want to know where the bottom is so I can buy. It's not how it works, right? If it was that easy, God, that would be nice. God, that would be nice. But let's see here. Shout out to Crypto Billy said, for the best return on your DCA purchase, you must be wearing a Richardson 112 Frankie Candles hat. Just saying. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Billy. Shout out to Crypto Billy. The Frankie Candles Richardson 112 hat does increase your gains on your dollar cost average, guys. So there you go. Shout out to BJK, said I do this on scalp trades. It's either the bottom or not. Yeah, for my lower time frame trades, like my scalps and my day trades, I don't dollar cost average into my positions often, right? It's not that I never do it. For example, like what I will do sometimes if I have a, like if I'm looking for a short on a golden pocket 786 retracement. So for example, if you have price, right, in a downtrend, right, boom, 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 and I'm looking for a short on a lower high, I might dollar cost average into that with my first entry being on the golden pocket. I'll put like 50% of my position size in there, right? That way, we don't know if you're going to reject the golden pocket or if you're going to reject the 786. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll put 50% of the position at the golden pocket, and then I'll fill the second portion of that position at the 786, right? So if you reject here, you're in, not full position size, but you're still in. And if you do come up to tap that 786, you can fill that whole position size so you get a bigger position, and it's kind of like a dollar cost average into the position. But for the most part, for my trades, I mark it in, right? I'll just sell, right? I aggressively get into the trade in one shot. That's typically what I do. But you could totally dollar cost average into small positions as well, or lower time frame trades, that is. Shout out to BJK. Let's see. Oh no, oh God, I got rid of chat. Hang on one second here. Hit the back button by accident. Where's my coffee at? But let's see. All right, let's take a look at some more altcoins. All right, so we took a look at Ethereum. Let's take a look at Solana. Bada boom. Right, so what is this? Where's our actual? Here's the Solana chart. I actually updated this chart really. I actually did a pretty big update on this chart. But I will just show kind of what we had on the chart previously so you guys know exactly what we're looking at. Where's it at? Where's my bada boom, right? So obviously, as you guys know, once we lost this value area low, right, we were looking for the push down to our next key level of support between the POC and value area high of the range, which is where we wound up putting in that 2-day bull div, right? Right, all these, and I'm not going to cover this, a lot of this looks the same as Bitcoin, right? So I'm not going to go super, super deep into this. But we did come down. We put in the 2-day bull div here into our key level of support. We looked at this level forever. I felt crazy looking at this level, but I'm glad I brought it up because not only did we wind up coming to visit that level, that is the key level that we wound up getting a bounce from, right? If we wound up losing this POC, we could have seen a much bigger drop to the downside, but we did wind up holding it at least for now, which is really nice. But overall, this is what we have been looking at, but I have updated this chart slightly. So I do just want to show you guys kind of what we're working with right now, right? So this is the overall range that I'm looking at, right? This same range that we're looking at here. I just made it a little bit cleaner, right? So value area low, this is our key level. We are potentially, right, deviate below your range. This is where you could look for a potential bullish confirmations, right, which would have been the 2-day bullish divergence, right? Push up into the value area, hold that value area low as support, push into the POC, flip that POC. We could potentially look to go up to that value area high. Now, it's not as simple as hey, we're above, we've been above here, that's it, we're going to the value area high. We have to be careful. We could get more pullbacks, right? And we do have key levels of support down below. But just to kind of show this, right? Where is my daily naked points of controls, right? So right here, right, we wound up coming down. Not only did we have the level that we looked at that I just showed you, right, on the POC and the value area high, but we also had a daily naked point of control in there, and I believe we were looking at that at the time, but you can kind of just see how clean this is, right? Come on down, hold that daily naked point of control, put the bullish divergences on the higher time frames in, right into that naked point of control and the value area high in POC that we were looking at. And now we're getting the bounce, and we're starting to potentially look to reclaim this range and push up towards that POC, right? If we could hold above the value area low, sitting at 126.80, we could potentially look for the POC, flip that POC, we could look for the value area high. Simply put, right? Simple volume profile stuff. Now, if we wind up losing this volume profile, right? And by lose, I just mean kind of play below the low. We do have some other key levels, right? We have a daily naked point of control at 118.77, daily naked point of control at 106.93, and then this is obviously tapped, so I could take this off the chart, right? And then we also have a daily naked point of control weekly confluence down at 106.42, right? And I do believe, yeah, there's a daily down there as well. So these are kind of the key levels that I would be looking at underneath us, right? Again, I would really prefer to hold this daily naked point of control and this fib zone right here. This is kind of what I would be looking at first. If we do come down and we lose that value area low, this could be what we look for, right? Come into the golden pocket, daily naked point of control, 786 daily confluence. That could be an area to put a higher low in. If we lose that, Next key level, in my opinion, would be really, like, this is the actual confluent level. Like, there's much more confluence down here, right? If I just hide this, you know, that's the first zone that I would look at, again, just so I can get that 119.22 to 112.77. But down here, you have a daily naked point of control, a daily, a weekly, and the 786. So, like, there's a few different confluent levels down here. I would really prefer to hold the upper fib level, right here, the local fib level. So kind of zone number 1. And that's assuming that we even come down to play with these levels, right? Zone number 1, and then zone number 2 would kind of be down here, right? A lot of confluence down here. So these are the big levels that I'd be looking at if we lose this value area. Lose it, bounce, back in, POC, value area high. But overall, treating this like a volume profile, right? We have the 2-day bull div. As you deviate below, as long as we get accepted into this range, POC and value area high could be next. And you do have confluence on the POC as well, right? You have a daily level. Daily naked point of control, daily, and the POC. So that's really what I'm looking at here. Take a look at the weekly. Weekly green dot also printing, right? So hopefully this could be the signal for the bigger retracements to the upside. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. Come on, high time frame bull dips. Come on. Let's see. You always keep Fresh Pow. Yo, shout out to BJK. Fresh Pow is hilarious, bro. Let's see. Shout out to Base Bailey. Said we're going to have another massive failure like Luna and FTX. Probably crash everything. I just hope I'm not in the market at the time. Mantra is probably a preview. Yeah. Crazy. Whoa. Yeah, this is insane. I saw this. Yikes. Yeah. Hopefully not. Hopefully, like, we don't get any more black swans. Obviously, if we get a black swan, guys, we could see, pretty scary lower prices. Thank you, Frankie. Bless you. Shout out to Machu. Shout out to you, bro. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Mountain Magnet. Said, what do you do in your free time, Frankie? You should try magnet fishing. Shout out to Mountain Magnets. I see these guys on Instagram all the time. Magnet fishing. They're always pulling up, like, crazy stuff. They're always, like, pulling up, like, grenades and stuff. But, yeah, magnet fishing is probably pretty dope. What do I do in my free time? I literally just sniff Mrs. Candle's hands, and I look at the charts. That's about it. No, I'm just kidding. But I do work a lot. Pretty much all the time. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Shout out to Getchy says, Frankie, what happens to last Friday's giveaway? We'll do both of them this Friday, right? So it'll be like a double Friday giveaway. So instead of doing 10 bags of crypto, we'll do 20 bags. Or maybe we'll just do 10 double bags. We'll figure it out. But we'll all those giveaways will still happen. We'll just do them. We'll just add them to Friday's giveaway. Tony D says he isn't lying. He has no free time. Shout out to Tony D. What do you do in your free time? What free time? But yeah, no, shout out to who said that? Shout out to Mountain Magnets. But yeah, we're going to take a look at XRP. And if you guys want to drop your favorite altcoins in the chat, if Rob the Crypto Song will count up the votes and let us know what we're looking at. Rob, let's do like 2 requests. I'll take a look at XRP and then we'll do the 2 requests. And then, yeah. Is there a real Mrs. Candles or is it just a blow-up doll? Shout out to Gordon. What blow? Why does everybody say it's a blow-up doll? Does she not look real? Mrs. Candles, can I see your hand real quick? Is it something look fake about this hand? I don't know what it is. Maybe it looks fake on camera. Yeah, I don't know. She has a very plasticky look to her sometimes. I don't mean to be offensive, Mrs. Candles, but yeah, I don't know. She's legit. She's legit. She's real. Say something, Mrs. Candles. She's shy. She's shy. Shout out to Gordon. No, Mrs. Candles is a real person. She is actually a real person. The real hand you smell is not Tony's hand. I swear. Tony doesn't paint his nails so I can smell his hand. I swear. Yo, Gordon says Frankie's IRL girlfriend is big mad right now. Shout out to Gordon. Mrs. Candles! I don't know if she's here right now, but if she is, I'll try to get her to do a face reveal. She won't do it, though. All right, let's see. Shout out to Arturo says, do ETH. Show ETH. We just did ETH. If you scrub back just a little bit, you'll see my full analysis on Ethereum. Yo, Kate Diggity said, did you just throw Mrs. Candles across the room? No? Did I? I forget I'm on camera sometimes, guys. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, let's take a look. Kate Diggity, don't say anything about that. Yo, RoboBall said Tony D is Mrs. Candles. Confirmed. Shout out to Crypto Billy, said I like her smile. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Crypto Billy has met the real Mrs. Candles. A few select people have met the real Mrs. Candles. You guys are crazy. Let's see. Okay, so let's take a look at XRP here. Now, XRP, very nicely, very similar to Solana, right? Got the slip through our low volume gap, and we are now potentially looking to get above this or hold above this value area low, right? This was a 786, right? Yeah. 786 retracement. That was kind of the last level that we needed to get above, right? So as of right now, if we can hold inside this value area, POC is the next key level of support, or resistance, I'm sorry. POC at 240. Value area low sitting at $2.05 is your key support. And yeah, actually, let me take a look at, let's pull from this high to the low. Okay, so there you go. So yeah, your next target here, if you can get above this golden pocket, POC 786, right? Very simply put, volume profile theory. Stay above the value area low. Next major stop is going to be the POC. Flip that POC, value area high. Very simply put. Value area high is at 272. Golden pocket is here, though, right? So could add a little bit more turbulence, but we have now tapped this. So maybe we reject this golden pocket, but as long as we can kind of either remain inside this value area, would obviously call for more upside, right? But even if we slip it, we just hope that you can hold some of these higher lows, right? I don't know if I want to come down that deep. Yeah. I really want to stay inside this range, but even if we don't, we play around outside of it a little bit. You know, we could potentially just put in some higher lows and continue up. But for the most part, this is the volume profile. Key level, 205. Stay above that. Next level that I would be looking at, POC 786 between 238 and 240. Right? Simply put. Key level to the downside remains exactly the same for XRP. If we lose, if we wind up dumping back through this low volume gap, we lose this low. Golden pocket value area high, $1.50 all the way down to $1.34 is your next real major key level of support, right? So let's assume maybe the, if the 2-day bull div doesn't wind up playing out, Bitcoin doesn't get the move up that we would hope for, and we get the bigger drop down, we would be looking down here for XRP. This is probably, in my opinion, that's probably going to be Bitcoin approaching 70 to 72K. So in that case, this would be the next key level on XRP, right? But as long as you remain inside this range, we could potentially continue looking for more upside. Now, taking a look at Market Cipher B, same deal, right? Green dot confirmed on your 3-day, 5-day green dot about to print, 4-day green dot's printing, weekly green dot not printing just yet, right? So it's like lagging behind Bitcoin just slightly with the green dots, but we'll see, right? Weekly green, not looking too bad here with that VWAP. Now, as far as your bullish divergences, the one thing I don't love here on XRP is the fact that we don't really have any of those bullish divergences that we have on Bitcoin, right? So we do have to be careful with that. It doesn't mean that the low can't be in, but just no bull divs, right? Like the reason I like Bitcoin on the higher time frames, right? And again, this does not mean you can't get short-term cool-offs, right? I do think you could potentially come down again, little cool-offs before continuing up. Also, could dump from here, right? We could be, 2-day bull div might just not play out, right? We have to understand that that could be the case, right? Like maybe it doesn't play out, but these are the signs on the chart, and that's what we have to react off of. But this looks nicer, right? Because you actually do have divergences, daily, 2-day. We don't have that on XRP. So we'll see what happens there, right? But those are the key levels I'd be looking at down below if you get the bigger move down. But as long as you stay in this range, those are the key levels I'd be looking at to the upside. So above us, 238 to 241. Value area high 272. Down below, big levels of support 150 to 133, 134. Macro support. Let's see. Shout out to War says, don't show this. I closed long from $1.74 on accident. I want to break my phone. Shout out to World. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. It's okay, bro. It's okay. It's okay. I've been there. I've been there, right? Even on Bitcoin. Actually, recently, right? I did this live. Where is it? This short position, right? Literally short on the live stream. Was up 10K. Meant to take partial profits. Closed the whole trade in full. I was expecting the value area low to come in, which was right down here. And we did wind up seeing that happen. But if it was a winning trade, it's a winning trade. So shout out to World. Don't trip too hard on that accidentally closing that. Let's see. Yo, shout out to CJ. CJ says, with all the money you make, you think you'd be able to get a higher quality Mrs. Candles. You guys don't know my Robo Mrs. Candles. I don't show her. Well, I do show her sometimes. Sometimes we bring in the cheaper Mrs. Candles, but that expensive Mrs. Candles with the painted nails, it's actually not real. It's actually a robot. Mrs. Candles! I had to reprogram her. It doesn't come. It doesn't come when it's supposed to. I don't think she's coming. She might be dead. Dead battery, that is. I might have to charge her. I think I might have forgot to plug her in last night. I don't know. Shout out to Mrs. Candles, though. Shout out to CJ. Those robots are not cheap. Those realistic fleshy hands are. Shout out to Elon Musk. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Owl. Welcome in, bro. Good to see you in here. Close the short early. Missed the whole dump. Shout out to Roboballs. It happens, brother. It happens. And again, you do sometimes have to just understand when to take a win, right? Like, I'm not going to lie, right? I do feel these emotions, right? Like when we get that dump, right? I'm like, oh, great. And then I close the whole trade, right? If I held that, this would have played out all the way down here. That would have been a massive, massive trade. But at the end of the day, that did turn out to be, like if you just look at it on the hourly, like that did wind up being like a 10, like it was a little more than 10,000. I think it was like 10,500, something like that. It was a $10,000 trade in like 3 hours, right? Like 2 hours almost. So like sometimes you have to like step back and be like, how could I be mad about that, right? Like sometimes I have to check myself. It's like, how could I possibly be upset about this, right? And at the end of the day, nip that in the bud if you do actually feel that ever, right? If you feel FOMO on missing a move that you could have been in, nip that in the bud because it is one of the most dangerous things, right? Because at the end of the day, missed opportunity is none of your business, right? It doesn't matter that I missed this, right? Like it doesn't matter. Like if you're not in it, you're not in it. It's if you start and then at that point, right? If you start really letting those emotions get into your brain, you might try to start FOMO shorting, and then you wind up FOMO shorting at the wrong times. You wind up getting chopped up, right? So just understand, you're not going to catch every single trade. Like even here, right? Like more recently, I wanted my entry talked about this on the live stream in the premium earlier. I wanted specific entry confirmations down here for a long. I did not get the confirmations. This wasn't a missed trade. This was just a setup that didn't present itself. So a little bit of a different situation, but we had a long setup down here. I just didn't see the confirmations I wanted, which was going to be an SFP and some medium time frame bullish divergences. We didn't get it. I didn't take the trade, right? Do I care that I missed this move? Absolutely not. I don't even think about it, right? It's like, okay, cool. I think price is going to continue up. That's cool. If I hit my next key level with confirmation, then I'll take the trade. So I missed out on this move. But what happens? I come into my next key level of resistance that we looked at on the live stream, found my confirmations up here for a short, and I caught the short, right? So there's always going to be another opportunity. You can't force trades. You can't chase trades. It's not worth it. Trust me. I've probably lost more money than anybody in the Mafia trying to chase trades. Trust me. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Yo, shout out to CJ said, yeah, FOMO trades work 0% of the time for me. Yeah, shout out to CJ. And sometimes they will play out. And I'll be honest, like the ones that play out are the most dangerous things ever because, you have one play out and then you start chasing and chasing and chasing. And then over time, it's just going to be a losing strategy. Let's see. There's nothing worse than starting a position in the red. Yeah, shout out to BJK. But yeah, that is, let's see. We took a look at XRP. We took a look at Ethereum. We took a look at Bitcoin. We took a look at S&P. We took a look at the DXY. We took a look at gold, which is one of the few times we've taken a look at. Revenge trades are my favorite. Shout out to Mikey. Yeah, you're not the only one, bro. You're not the only one. Shout out to maybe a Band-Aid in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Good to see you in here. I lost like half of my savings FOMOing until I finally took the lesson. Yeah, shout out to Isnar. It is literally, you are like 99% of people have to learn the hard way. You could have 1 million people tell you, don't FOMO, don't force trades, don't chase trades, don't revenge trade, right? And I know this because I talk to people in real life that want to learn how to trade. And, I try to tell them, like, don't do that, right? And they just always wind up making the mistake anyway. So it's not even as simple as, like, getting told what not to do or getting told. Like, I could tell anybody my lessons that I've learned, like, don't make the same mistakes I did 99% of the time. For some reason in trading, because everything is so emotional, they have to go make their own decisions, right? It's almost like if you give your friend, like, relationship advice, like, come on, bro, like, don't chase her, right? Usually they're just like, they just go chase them, right? It's because the emotions are involved. So it's insane. Shout out to Div X-Ray. What is going on, bro? Said, if I hold ETH, Solana, XRP in 5 years, will they be higher priced than today? Shout out to Div X-Ray. Short answer, I have no idea. If you want my opinion, right, not financial advice, I would say so. In the next 5 years, I would say they would be higher. Yeah. Let's see. Shout out to Doc. Said, Frankie, you the GOAT. I continue to learn from your streams. It has taken me way longer to learn to trade properly than I expected. So it's great to have you here to reiterate. Yeah, shout out to Doc. It's not an easy thing. I saw an Instagram reel the other day. I didn't make this up. But there was this girl. She's a day trader, right? She trades stocks. And she was saying, like, how all of her friends and her family are like, oh, like, can you show me how to trade? And, like, they want to sit down and, like, get a 15-minute crash course so they can start making money trading. That is not how trading works, right? You could put some money in an account. You could get lucky. You can mess around on the charts and make some money quick. But it's not long-lasting, right? Like, to become a profitable trader over time, it takes time to learn the skill. There's no indicator. There's no 1 5-minute tutorial video that you're going to watch that just makes you win every trade or make money and get rich overnight. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Nothing easy, nothing worthwhile is going to be that easy, right? What she was saying was, I don't know why all my friends and family think that they're going to make more than a brain surgeon by sitting down and talking to me for 5 minutes, right? Like, it's not like I did not learn how to trade by watching one tutorial and then I just got good at it. It's taken years, right? It's taken years to not only learn the skill of technical analysis, but then actually apply that to trades. Technical analysis and trading are two different skills. You could be the best analyst and the worst trader. They're two totally separate skills, right? And most people think, right, like, what other job, right? And a lot of people don't like that, right? Everyone just wants, like, the quick shortcut. And I will be the first person to tell you there is zero shortcut, no shortcut to trading. You have to learn, right? You have to get your hands dirty. And unfortunately, you usually have to learn by making mistakes and paying the market its tuition, right? And that's the reality of it. And it can be the most rewarding thing on earth, right? You can make money from wherever you want. There's no salary cap, right? But it's not easy, right? You're not going to be able to make a ton of money every day. You're not going to be able to make $10,000 in a day by just watching one tutorial video. And that's why there's such a high failure rate in trading. I don't think it's a failure rate. I think it's a quitting rate, right? It's like people who just give up. Most people, at the end of the day, 99% of people don't have what it takes. But you do. The mafia does, right? And maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, I don't want to spend all that time. Then that's good to know, right? It's good to know going into it. But this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is definitely possible, right? But it is not a get-rich-quick scheme. There's no indicator. There's no setup. There's no 100% win rate trading strategy. You have to, even if you have a natural knack for TA, you have to pay the market its tuition. Almost always. Is there probably a rare case where someone just got into trading and got lucky and became profitable right away? I've never heard of it, right? So yeah, it's very important to realize, right? Like, but yet most of America will give up 4 years of their life and pay tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to a college to go spend all their time at a college And the statistical return on that investment is usually horrible, right? So you can think of it like that, right? Like, ask yourself this. Do you want to be a day trader? Do you want to learn how to make money trading crypto, whether price goes up or down? What's your time horizon? You have to extend the time horizon. If you want to I want to start making a ton of money in the next month. Realistically, it's probably not going to happen, right? It's just not how trading works, right? Extend your time horizon, right? To a year, 2 years, 3 years, right? That's what I did. I said, listen, if I focus on this and put my 100% effort, not BS, like 100% effort, obsessing over it every day. If I look at this and do this for the next 3 years, I have to get better, right? There's no way I'm going to go through that 3 years and just still be what I am today, right? But it's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen in a month. It's not going to happen in 2 months. It's a long road, right? But again, if you want that outcome, if you want to make a lot of money, right? If you want to make money sitting at your desk trading, that's what it takes, right? Nothing comes easy in life, right? Like nothing worthwhile comes easy. And that's why I say it should motivate you. The fact that it is not a get-rich-quick scheme and it's not easy means that it's not too good to be true. That's the warning sign. When people tell you like, oh, by my indicator, just buy and sell on these signals. Does that sound too good to be true? Probably, right? That means it's probably not going to work. But when it is a long road that is not easy and you actually have to put time and effort in, it means it's worthwhile, right? So just take that for what it's worth. Gotta have dreams. Shout out to Mark Tudge. They don't teach you trading in college. Yeah, shout out to Guardian. They should. They should. But if they did teach trading in college, I think people would be much more likely to shell out 50 to 100 grand to go to school for 4 years to learn how to trade, right? But they get, trading is a bad rap online, right? Like people sell it as a get-rich-quick scheme. Buy my Discord, get rich overnight. Buy my signals, get rich overnight, right? If it was that easy, I would have never learned how to trade, right? I would have just gone into a signals group and gotten rich overnight. It doesn't exist. Trust me, I've tried everything. I've tried every buy and sell indicator back in the day. I've tried buying and selling off of red and green dots on Market Cypher B. I've tried everything. I went for the shortcuts. I wanted the shortcuts. I was in those shoes looking for the shortcuts, not wanting to put in the work. And then it got to the point where it's like, okay, it's not okay, it makes sense. Okay, obviously I wasn't going to buy this indicator and just be able to buy and sell, right? Like it's kind of obvious. Like I don't know why. I kind of felt silly. I was like, I don't know why I thought that was going to work. Obviously it doesn't work. Everybody would do it then. But that's when I said there are people out there making money trading if I actually put in the time and the effort required. Hard work, not watching a 5-minute tutorial once a week and kind of checking in on the charts. You have to obsess. Making money trading is something you have to be obsessed with. It just, you have to. And it's not for everybody. But for those, shout out to Worthy Gains. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He said, preach, brother. Lost over 40K learning how to trade, making the same mistakes, and now I'm finally starting to get it. No easy shortcuts, guys. Yeah, shout out to Worthy Gains. I appreciate that, bro. 100%. There is no shortcut, right? Just like anything in life. And most people just want to hear what they want to be. Most people want to be lied to, right? Most people just want to just tell me I'm going to get rich quick. Let me buy the thing and let me figure it out myself. But yeah, just trust me. If you put the work in and you learn a winning strategy, which there are a ton of them out there, you don't need to use, you don't need to go strategy hopping. There's plenty of really good strategies out there, whether you use mine or somebody else's. There's tons of really good strategies out there. And once you learn that and you learn how to manage the risk and put in the work and don't go into it trying to make money. Don't get into trading to make money. If you're getting into trading to make money, you're already starting off on the wrong foot. Obviously, the goal is to make money, but if you make that the main focus, you are not going to focus on the skill. You're going to focus on chasing money. And what happens when you chase money? Kind of like Mrs. Candles when she shows her hand for a second and then she runs away. It will run away from you every single time. Very, very, very important. Shout out to Ando. Poncho said, have you lost more than 80 bands, Frank? Shout out to Ando. I actually do want to take a look at Ando, hilariously enough. Yo, shout out to Dave Digital said, I just watched Frankie and my exchange account just takes the trades for me automatically now. I'm uber rich. Don't tell anyone. Shout out to Dave Digital. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yeah, shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. Said, Frankie, lie to me. Tell me Bitcoin's going to $1 million. Let's go to $1 million by tomorrow. Did you see the bullish divergence, Stupid Bitcoin? I'm just kidding. But yeah. Yo, shout out to Crash. Said, most people don't give up. They run out of money. Shout out to Crash. That's pretty funny. I would disagree with that, though. I think most people just give up. Nobody wants to spend 2 years or a year losing money, right? You could spend a year demo trading, right? You don't even have to risk money up front. But yeah, it's like, what comes first? Are you going to give up or run out of money? Because I ran out of money plenty of times. Ando said, have you lost more than 40 bands? It's kind of hard. I didn't really keep track, right? I kind of wish I kept better track. I didn't have a ton of money to risk, right? So when I blew up an account, I wasn't blowing up like a $20,000 account. So I don't know. I don't really know exactly how much money I lost. I knew it was a lot. I knew I'd blown up accounts many a times. But yeah, it's brutal, right? I went through it. It's hard. I wanted to give up. There were 3 separate times where I really wanted to give up. But thank God I didn't. Yo, shout out to World says, there's a simple trick. As long as Frankie has that chair, short every high. I'm gonna use a different chair tomorrow and see if we pump. And that's the thing too, right? If you're learning how to trade, right? If you want to learn how to trade, you should not be going broke, right? So like running out of money is, you shouldn't be putting like a significant amount of money in your trading account. Load it up with a small amount, right? Because why would you open up an account with a lot of money in it if you don't know what you're doing yet? Unless you're chasing money and trying to get rich, right? It's like, well, I don't want to put $100 in the account because what am I going to make on each trade? $3? You're chasing money. That's not how you make money long-term in this game. I promise you. But yeah, if you stick through it, it is the most rewarding thing in the world, obviously. Because everybody wants to do this, right? But most people don't want to put in the work. But we got the Mafia out there who actually do put in the work because I see you guys all the time showing me your progress, right? Yeah, demo trading is like hitting the gym. Yeah. Going and back testing is like doing push-ups for trading. Let's see. Okay, so let's continue on here. Take a quick look at Ando. Let's see. Yeah, so Ando weekly green dot is printing. Very similar to a lot of other stuff. We have our local volume profile in here. Just get my bearings here really quickly. So I'm actually going to take this local range off the chart. So yeah, so we do have value area low / doorway to higher prices and the POC. This is kind of one of those situations where you have the value area low and the POC right in line with each other. So instead of the value area low being the doorway to higher prices, it's really the POC, right? Because you don't just want to get above the value area low because you have the POC right above you. You want to flip that as well, right? So this is, and then get rid of this fib. Pull this fib. So yeah, you have your 786, your value area low. You got to get above the 786 value area low. And then at that point, again, I wouldn't necessarily say this is the doorway to higher prices. I would kind of say the POC is the doorway to higher prices, right? For the reasons I just mentioned. Whoops. Doorway to higher prices. Boom. So there you go. Get above here. Major level of resistance. Value area low. 89 cents. Get above that. POC at 93 cents is your next level. Flip that. That opens. That's really the doorway to higher prices. Where you could potentially be looking to target eventually the value area high at $1.21. I wouldn't necessarily be the first place I look. I would be watching some local levels of resistance, which is probably going to be right here. Whoops. Yeah, POC, golden pocket. So these would be some local retracement levels I would watch. That's coming in between 101 and 99 cents. And then we have the 786 value area high. Again, these are internal levels, local levels within your larger profile. So get above here, push into the golden pocket, right? Could get some turbulence there. But once you get above that, I'd be looking up towards the value area high. So if we flip that POC, next target would be about $1. Flip that, I'd be looking up towards $1.05 to $1.07. Flip that, looking up towards $1.22. Let's see. Can BTC just go to $1 million already, please? Shout out to Robo Balls. Yeah. Please, for the love of God, send this thing to the moon. Shout out to Robo Ball. Said, if you were to make a totally unscientific guess as if and when BTC could be $1 million, when do you think it could happen? 2030? I think it's a little early. I would say in the next 10 to 15 years is my totally unscientific. I could sit down and really do some research and really try to come up with a good answer. I would say in the next 10 to 15 years, it's potential. So yeah, that would be my general guess. 5 years, I think, is a little too soon. But hey, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, that is what I'm going to be looking at on Ondo. Let's see, and I think we are running out of time. I could do some speed, actually. I'll do some speed analysis here on SUI. On this chart. Is this our SUI chart? Hang on one sec. No, this isn't. I don't think this is our SUI chart. There it is. Okay, so get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of this, get rid of this. Whoops. All right, so we have your local profile from over here in October of 2024. We've come back into the range. I mean, very similar, right? To everything else. Bull divs here, almost right into that value area low. What is this? 786 is pulled from the low. Would have liked to come up and tap that. Yeah, it's into this little local 786. So I mean, listen, 2-day bull divs, nothing to really scoff at, right? 3-day bull div is confirmed. Again, money flow still in the red here, right? So if these bull divs are just going to give us another lackluster lower high like the last one did, we didn't have it here on on SUI, but on Bitcoin, we did have the 2-day little mini bull div, right? Lower lows, higher lows, lackluster, lower high, lower low, right? If this bull div is just going to kind of do the same thing where we're just going to put in that lower high and break structure to the downside once again, that is possible. But with the fresh bull divs printing here on the 4-day green dots, I don't know how likely that is, to be honest. But when we look at this from a binary perspective, right, or a Fibonacci perspective, pull from the high to the low, that 786, definitely an opportunity to put in a lower high and continue down. Right, so that is in the cards, right? Doesn't mean just because we have the 2-day bull does not guarantee we come up, but they are on the chart, and that's we typically see that be a significant move up. And again, it is a little different than what was back here. We have the weekly green dot now. We did not have that back here. Let's see. All right, so back to SUI. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, a lot of the alts look the same. 2-day bull divs, 3-day bull divs, 4-day green dot is printing. Money flow still in the red, right? So lower highs and lower lows are not impossible, but for the most part, your next significant levels here on SUI. Golden pocket, 786 coming up here at about 253. So locally, could reject this golden pocket 786 zone. So this is your local resistance. You're already rejecting the golden pocket, but that 786 is there. So yeah. Flip that 786. You might be able to work your way back up towards that value area low at $3.12. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't hate these weekly green dots looking to print, at least for more potential local upside. But we'll see. Maybe this golden pocket pushes you back down. Value area high here at 210 would be key support. POC sits at 202, right? So that's a whole zone. This still remains key support, right? Because just like back here, you can look for support on these zones, but once you get accepted back into the range, you look to go to the PLZ and the value area low. Right, so we get stuck back in here. Could bring you back down to about $1.69. But for the most part, Yeah, you're just kind of in between these two value areas, right? Value area 1, value area 2, right? So we come back in here. You could bing bong there. Break above the 786. You could approach here, break in, look to go to the high. But yeah, this is kind of like a no trade zone, in my opinion, unless you're catching like a higher low. So yeah, you would hope to hold above that value area high. If you come back down off this golden pocket even more, you're hoping to hold that value area high. Because if you get stuck back in, probably going to the low. So that's what I look at on Sui. Let's see. Shout out to Greeny. Thank you for the super chat. Said, can you check out, please, Frankie, our one and only savior, Cake. Let's take a look at Cake real quick. I appreciate you, Greeny, for the super chat. Let's see here. Kaki. Dang it. Let's take a quick look at this. I'm going to look at a new chart here for Cake. Yeah, I don't really have an updated chart on Cake, unfortunately. This is the only one that I have. Let's get rid of this, get rid of this. All right, so yeah, I mean, I don't really have an updated chart for Cake, unfortunately, but if I had to look at this, yeah, this is a choppy chart, man. Ugh. See what this looks like. Yeah, this could potentially be something to look at. Yeah, you can look at this as like a larger range. It's kind of wonky. You have a bunch of like mini profiles all in here. Like you have another value area. Like you have one here. Like maybe even another one right. Nah. Yeah, you definitely have one here. You have like another one right here. So I'm just going to take these larger levels. Right, value area low at 165. Right, we've gone from the low back into the range. POC, value area high, from the high, POC, value area low, from the low, value area, POC, value area high, from the high, POC, value area low. So nice to see it above the value area low at $1.65. So you would hope that you hold above this, obviously. Weekly green dot, not quite printing yet. Money flows in the red, very, very choppy. 6-day, potentially, yeah. Ugh. 4-day, looking for a potential green dot. This is honestly a lot choppier than a lot of other things. Like money flow coming back out on the 12-hour, 10-hour, 4-hour. Green dot potentially looking to print there. So, yeah, I'll be honest. Market Cipher B is pretty chopped on this. So, I will say keep an eye on this volume profile. $1.66 value area low, 253 POC, value area high at 287. Remain above the value area low. At this point, you've deviated, gotten back in. Could be starting our journey back up to the POC, just like every other time. Right? Back in, below the POC, back to the low, deviate the low, back in, POC, value area high. Right? So, volume profile theory would say remain above value area low. Continue your trend to the POC and the value area high. So, yeah, I would just watch this. 166, hold above that level, look to remain in this profile. Other than that, this is a super, super choppy chart. You could potentially look at this as your local range. Yeah, you could potentially look. Yeah, I mean, even this is super wonked out. But you could potentially look at this as some local levels as well. I'll give you these as well before we let you go. Value area low, POC, value area high. So, similar levels here. Maybe. Let's see. Do we have confluence on this value area low? So, yeah, I mean, remain above $1.69. So, locally, right, maybe we cool off here. You went from the low to the high. Back to the low. Hold the higher low. Continue to the upside. And then you could look at this as hide this range, show this range. Where's the next stop? You can look at the upper targets. So, these are definitely the ranges I would look at. Again, a super choppy chart. But overall, this is your larger range. And then for the local price action, you can look at this like smaller scalp range. So locally, if you can hold above these levels, you might be able to continue that trend, right? So it might look like lose the POC, come to the low, back to the POC. And once you start breaking out of here, you could hide this and look at the larger targets, right? POC at 252, value area high at 287. Let's see. I'm off to bed. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Said, hope Rob warmed up my side first. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Never know what Mark Dutch is going to say next. But guys, with all that being said, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for sticking with us through this 2-hour live Frankie Candles live stream. We'll see what happens here on Bitcoin. Just don't be shocked, guys, if we get that low time frame volatility, potential pullbacks on the smaller time frames. But those two-day bull divs, those 3-day bull divs, the 4-day green dot, 5-day green dot, weekly green dot, hopefully those bull divs into these key levels of support can overall give us that bigger continuation to the upside, potentially targeting 88, 91, and $97,000. But if not, hopefully we'll be in a short from the top, and we'll make money as she dumps back down to $70,000 to $72,000. But I'll be here with you guys tomorrow, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Crypto Anon, shout out to Codon, shout out to Baze Bailey, shout out to Mikey, shout out to J. Cole, shout out to Jesse, our like police, shout out to all the mods, guys. Show them some love on the way out and smash that like button on your way out. That's all the time I got for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Yeah, I ordered one of your Robo girlfriends about, I want to say like 2 years ago. And yeah, she's not holding a charge. She doesn't come when I call for her. It used to work really good. I just wanted to see if it was still in. I just wanted to see if it was still under warranty. Yeah. Yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go.
we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out.